So welcome everyone. It's the last day in January, January the 31st, 2024. And we are on to the law of unification with Sanat Kumara. And I'm just going to go over one little thing because I've been finding it super helpful about the dimensions. The exercise that St. Francis gave us at the end of Charity about working with the dimensions. So let's just look at that. Oh, here's Archangel Michael's mission of peace. So I just like to bring that up at the very beginning. And this little group, the peacenow.com, they're coming out with these little memes. And this one's cute. Everyone has the same color heart. When you no longer focus on differences, you can now find common ground. This is where peace and love endure. So these are coming when you just subscribe to their newsletter. And I just thought, okay, let's keep focusing on peace with Archangel Michael. All right. And this is the dimensional. I just want to remind us of this exercise with the dimensions that St. Francis gave us, where you visit the dimensions one after another and you give and receive at each point. And I was working it in the circle on Saturday, just with myself because no one showed up. And it turns out that my drum has exactly 12 sides to it. So I was using my drum to go in and out of the dimensions. And it's actually a beautiful thing if you sit still and just go to each one and feel the give and receive. So for instance, with the first dimension, it's all about ideas and the void and sacred purpose. So when we receive inspiration from the void, it helps us give for our sacred purpose. So you can see what I'm saying. And when you receive the non-judgment of the other side, the compassion and the humility, which is again our service, connected to our service, being in the balance, then you can go out and be in that state of giving. So it's so amazing just to sit there and just to listen to what the dimensions just have to offer. So it's like you're on this big piece of grass. Like just think of a big piece of grass, and then you just visit each moment, each hour, each second. Well, I just say each hour, and feel that you are giving and receiving from each point. And yeah, and he says if you get stuck at a certain, I'd say you get stuck at one, then just sit there and listen. But I've found it's very helpful to do that and practice it. Okay, so and I just want to read this. The key: be in gratitude, be in that place of balance, so that you are in that place of charity. And be conscious, my friend, that you not only give, for which you are very generous, but you also receive. Receive not only from this side and from the animals, the trees, the earth, the sky, but also from the people. Meet their eyes, allow their warmth to touch you, allow their smile to quench your loneliness, allow their being to intermingle and dance with yours. This is what I ask you to do. So, and then it makes all the experiences kind of just meld away as well. The good, the bad, and the ugly. It turns into, we're here to love everyone. So in that green, on the green grass. Okay, so we're in the heart chakra. The seventh dimension, state of being the heart and knowing of love, charity, which we just went through with St. Francis. And this heart chakra is connected to your thymus, your heart organ, the circulatory system, the immune system, the endocrine system, and the universal law of unification unity with Sanat Kumara. So let's jump into that right now. And I just wanted to do this little review of what the universal laws are. The universal laws are simply the laws of this universe. They are the understanding of how our universe works and operates. The basis of all of these laws is love. There cannot be a universal law that does not have its foundation in love. That is the core and the substance of the multiverse of the omniverse. So the laws are very golden energy. And remember how Archangel Raphael said there's no difference between creation and healing. So think of the laws like the golden grid, like the sun, joy, the blessing and virtue of joy, and that healing, green energy, the love. And there was this saying that SK said about the scales, his scales of balance that he carries, the scales of justice, of worth, and of the universe in balance. So our worth is equal to the universe, which is love. So just that's the, again, no difference between healing and creation that Archangel Raphael talked about. And we're here to master compassion, that place, being like a tree, able to stand back and just observe everything and not judge. Easier said than done. Okay. And this is interesting. SK got me to look up unification and unity the other day. And unification is the process of being united or made into a whole. And unity is the state of being united or joined as a whole. So the process and the state. That's so cool. I didn't know that. Okay. So this is the meditation that begins at the beginning of all these radio shows about the laws. And it came through back in 2013 in October through Linda Dillon, and Susie was the host. So SK began by saying, let's begin by relaxing. Take a nice deep breath of gold, the gold of the autumn sun, of the leaves of the oak trees and the maple trees and the beech trees as they change color, the gold of chrysanthemums, and let's throw in a little bit of spring daffodils and feel that warm golden glow of an autumn afternoon around 4 in the afternoon as you walk. You can feel that sun on your face. Breathe gold, the gold of Yahweh, the gold of Archangel Gabriel. So that's that old gold, and the gold of Sanat Kumara. And relax. Take this time for you, for your sweet self that is so loved and so deserving of this time and this gift of time for you. I forgot to set the timer. There we go. Okay. Feel your energies sinking into your heart deeper and deeper as we travel yet again to our golden chambers. And in the center of your heart, see that tiny pinprick of light, that tiny speck of brilliant white light. And it's the portal to your heart. It's the portal to ascension. And it's the portal to love. And feel yourself migrating towards it with your wings fully unfurled as you sense the air lifting you and gliding, as you fly through that portal, that doorway, that pinprick of light into the interior of your heart, into those golden chambers. As you arrive, you see once again the writing, the symbols, the messages that you've written on the walls of your heart about your sacred purpose and intent, about your dreams and creations, about what you are willing to give and receive. And take a moment and look at them. So just close your eyes and just gaze at those walls and see all those symbols, ancient languages, intentions. And to feel how closely you are in alignment with your plan, and let that sense of satisfaction, of alignment anchor within you and give you that deep, warm glow of knowing that you are on track. Now find your chair or your cushion or your seat, as today we work with the law of unification and unity. Always we have looked within our chambers for the information and our creation work, but today we are going to send out from our heart these wonderful golden filaments, these threads, beautiful, rich, burnished golden threads out into the universe to connect, to be part of the unified grid. what each one of us chooses to connect with will be different. For some, it will be the kingdoms, the divas, the fairies, the gnomes, the leprechauns. For some, it will be the wolves, the bears, the elephants, the animal kingdoms. For others, it will be the rivers and oceans, the sky and the air, our star brothers and sisters. It's whatever you choose. So see about half a dozen of these wonderful golden threads simply traveling out from your heart and connecting with what you love, with what you cherish, and with what or whom you wish to build a closer connection, to feel a greater unification with. So I made a little picture so you can just see the sky and the air, our star brothers and sisters, the kingdoms, the divas, fairies, gnomes, and leprechauns, and then the animal kingdoms, the wolves, the bears, the elephants, the rivers and oceans. The elephants are very much the mother energy, and the bears, the wolves. Yeah, so interesting. So go ahead, and if you don't know, just send out those filaments and let them show you where they're going, and breathe gold and allow and make those connections. As you do, as you connect heart to heart, feel the two-way transmission that's beginning to take place right now, and the love and the information and the energy that is being sent back to you right now. Open and receive, allow. Let this love that's being sent to you expand your heart even larger, way outside your physical body, and feel that sense of belonging. All of us want to belong no matter what. So anchor that sense of being part of something bigger and of being loved and cherished, and hold on to it. Over the next days and weeks, build on it. Send out your filaments, not yourself, but your filaments, your calling card that says, I'm here, and I'm not only willing, I'm wanting to connect. Then when you're ready, open your eyes. So yeah, just allow those filaments to go out into your community. It's a beautiful little exercise. I know we've been doing this one for years. Just sending out that energy and connecting. So if you're wanting to do like extra work in your community, or whatever it is that you're interested in, it's fun to just send out the filaments, and it's magical what happens, because our guides help with all these connections. They're masters at putting people together and directing us to different situations. Okay, any questions about this meditation or this exercise of sending out golden filaments? Do we remember it from the last time we did this exercise? No. Okay, because we did this one before, and it's quite good. I know that I've used it quite a few times. Okay, so this is SK, greetings. I am Sanat Kumara. Susie says welcome, and he says welcome to you. Yes, you may call me Sanat, you may call me SK, you may call me Raj, and I'm pleased that you have called me, for there were many who wished to speak this day on this delightful topic of unification, because of course it is the fiber, the matrix of who we all are throughout the multiverse, throughout the omniverse, that the Mother, Father, One has created. It's very large. Yet within this, there is not one speck of dust or one molecule of water or dirt that does not have a unique place within this multiverse. And there is a knowing of all the kingdoms, and certainly among your star brothers and sisters, and even those of very distant galaxies, of the interconnectedness of all, and that what one does affects the whole. This is one of the areas that I particularly wish to speak to this day. It is how your heart, your thoughts, your actions, your position affects the totality, And I wish to address this in the most positive of manners. Beloved friends, I speak to you not simply as planetary logos or keeper of universal law. I speak to you as brother and friend. I speak to you perhaps as older brother or older sister, for that matter, when you would sit at 9 or 10 and you would ask those questions of such a private, blushing, confidential nature of how things work biologically. Well, now it's time to have the true conversation. And there is certainly no room for embarrassment or hesitation or confidentiality for that matter, because we want your entire planet to know and understand how things work. You, each and every one of you, are an essential part, unique and beautiful, but essential to the whole. Dare I say, to the operational structure of the whole. You cannot build a plane or a complicated piece of machinery, or simply omit a ball bearing or a screw or a piece of metal. It is not possible. The whole thing collapses. It is far too risky, and so it is with each of you. You are essential components, elements in the mother's plan. That's so beautiful. Everyone is important. So important. She did not birth you and then forget about you. That is not within the realm of possibility. And you think, but she has birthed so much and so much has been created. How can I matter? How can I count? It is a very honest and true question that you pose. How can you matter in such a massive expanse of the universe? In your human mind, yes, even in your fifth, sixth, and seventh dimensional minds, it is boggling to think that in this gigantic universe that you are not only attended to and loved, noticed and noted, but essential and critical to the whole. Otherwise, you would not have been birthed. Otherwise, you would have remained at home. It is not simply that you wish to go exploring, that you wish to move out of home. The birthing of your spark of love, what you tend to think of as your spark of light, was very much a planned event, and one that was heralded with anticipation and joy. That is your birthright. It is the joy of knowing who you are, of your incredible uniqueness, and yet you are completely interlinked to everything else in the universe. Oh. In the omniverse, everything else in the omniverse, not the universe, the omniverse. Okay. And then he goes on, he says, you may try, and each of you has at times, to exclude yourself. And there are certainly times when you have felt excluded, isolated, separated, but it is not of truth, and it most certainly is not of love. Let me preface what I say. I do not go into this to bring forth the old paradigm of false blame, guilt, shame. You are done with that, so place it aside. When you feel the slightest dislocation, emotional, mental, physical, in any way, shape, or form, it is not only known, but felt, not assumed, but felt and noted throughout the entire grid. Yes, whether it is a cold or a heartbreak or a financial challenge, a sibling who does not understand and hurts your feelings, a partner who does not value you, a misunderstanding, or a feeling of rejection or loss. This is what we refer to as any feeling of dislocation. You can say to me, well, Raj, so much for privacy. And I would say you are correct. But why do I tell you this? Because as soon as that dislocation is felt, assistance in an entire variety of ways that are appropriate to you and to us rushes to your aid. When I say us, I mean all the kingdoms of Gaia as well. Wow, we are surrounded with help. Yes. So even you can draw help from the sky, the animal kingdoms, the fairies, our star brothers and sisters, and then of course our circle, you know, the masters and the angels. So when you feel that you have been forgotten and alone, there are literally thousands, millions of energies that are penetrating you, breaking down that false idea, but more importantly, touching and filling your heart. The knowing of this connectedness is important, not simply so that you know that assistance comes to you, but that you know that you also go and send that assistance, and that so much of your work is done in this manner. We have talked to you about how your enormous energy field transmits so much information, energy, and love, not only on your planet and to the kingdoms, but throughout the universe. And it is this deep recognition within you of this power that you hold in the most positive sense of the world. So it is the collective power that comes together. When you are alone, there are times when you are a raging river and very powerful. There are times when you are a trickling stream. But when you consciously come together in the understanding of unification, you are like the Hoover Dam of the universe. Wow. So, yeah, so that's so interesting. There's so much help available for us from everywhere, but we don't usually feel it when we're triggered. We feel all alone. Yeah, Darren?
Yeah, so why don't we feel it besides shutting it out?
The old belief systems that we feel separate.
So that
That's
separates us?
the nature of the journey here sometimes.
So that separates us from reality then?
The belief systems, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, another question here. What happens if someone dies in an accident? Does that leave a hole in the system then?
Well, we have to remember that everything is in divine order too. So when things like that happen, even if it doesn't, we don't understand it, that there's a bigger picture. Even all the people dying from the opioids, and yeah. And there's groups, sometimes there's groups that actually sacrifice themselves to wake us up, is what I've heard too. You've heard that too, right, Steve?
Sacrifice souls, yeah, like Kennedy was. Yeah.
Yeah, and groups on like a plane, like if a plane goes down, often it's a soul group that's decided they're gonna do this, or yeah. So yeah, it's such a big picture. As humans, it's hard to see. Yeah. But I would just really deeply understand too that everything is in divine order. You know, when it seems like it doesn't make sense. Yeah. But to draw on, so if it doesn't make sense, then to just open and draw on all the energies that are around us for help, so we don't fall into that trigger situation of feeling alone because this has happened, or like he said, blame and shame and all that, the guilt. That helps create us feeling separate. Anxiety, the belief in anxiety really is feeling separate. So if ever anyone's feeling anxious, if you ask what it is, it generally will go back to a place of where there was a separation, whether parents separated or something like that. Usually goes right back to that. Or if somebody died too, and you're a child and you just don't understand, it can create a real strong belief that we're alone. Yeah. Okay. So then Raj says, do you have questions of me? And Susie says, I do have a few. You've already spoken of this, but I think that the pain at the very core of the human experience is the illusion that we are alone on this journey. So the very idea of it brings us to a place of longing for connection with others, whether we are aware of it or not. The collective desire to belong to something drives us to seek answers about why we feel so dreadful, and so we set out on a path to try and understand and get some answers. Yeah, we can open to all the love that's around us. But she says, my question is this: are we at an evolutionary place now where there's no longer any energy holding that illusion of separation in our hearts? Is this filtering through to the consciousness of all of humanity? And Raj says that is correct. And you know what you are also really referring to is your ascension. There are those that will ascend in a snap, as it were, and you know that those are the most recalcitrant, and those who have avoided these various topics very assiduously. That's why I put the golden monkey with this golden spiral, because that's part of the reason why it's so good to stand back and compassion, because we just don't know why someone is playing a role that they're playing. Was it to ascend very quickly if they're acting out of alignment? I mean, we just don't know. So it's better not to make any kind of assumption about the various roles people are in, especially in the public eye, playing. But all of you, and certainly all of you who are listening to me this day, either on this show or on the recording, have been on this journey of elimination. So the law of elimination is actually connected to the third eye, which is the middle of the forehead. It's that magenta color right here of mastery. And in that law, it's really deep forgiveness of everything. And it's spiraling energy, and it spins counterclockwise. It's the mother energy. It has been eliminating this idea of separation, of isolation, and in your own quiet way, and sometimes very noisy way, coming to this place that we have yearned for, of knowing that you are not alone. So that's the other side, saying they have yearned for us to understand that we're not alone. And it's interesting to watch, like, some of the television programs, how there's mediums now. There's Teresa, Long Island medium, and then there's a couple other guys that are out there, and they're all bridging the veil to great groups, like huge audiences, and loved ones explaining things. And so the veil is definitely thinning in the public eye in that way, but also it's just us feeling it too, feeling that connection to our loved ones on the other side, to the masters, to the angels, being able to understand, like, do the heart listening, so you're understanding what the messages are. You have never been alone. Rather than an occasional feeling of connectedness, either in nature or in meditation or with a certain group of people, you're reaching that place where that illusion has simply dissipated from your heart. It no longer exists. So that false grid, that paradigm that has been part and parcel of the, shall we say, the dark times of the human condition, is gone. And Darren, did you have a question?
Oh, well, I didn't, but I can ask one anyway. How come this illusion still seems to be here, even though he says it's dissipated?
Okay, well, this message came through 10 years ago. I would say the illusion is dissipating with a greater group of people. We've got way more people that are interested now than ever. I posted a meditation for tomorrow, a group meditation, Steve. It's worldwide.
Oh, wow. Great.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it's an old fellow that's a concert pianist, and he talks. Yeah, you might want to go in and have a look at the video. It's really, I was just like, I mean, it's not fully enlightened, which is fine, but at least he's gathered all these different groups together.
Ah, boy.
To do a long over the weekend, like a 3-day thing. Yeah, so I'd say that we're trucking along pretty nicely. Yeah,
Great.
and just being out in public every weekend, I mean, It's amazing what people are asking and where they're at.
Hmm.
Mhm. And I'm starting to get more and more people coming back with more and more questions, which is great. Yeah. Mhm. So he says, now there are times when you fall back into it. And that is why I've begun by saying, when you are in that dark place, allow all the energies that are floating and streaming across the grid at the speed of love to enter so that it becomes not even a hiccup because there's no room for it. So it's just, yeah. So if you find that you're feeling all alone and I don't know, just the old belief systems, that place of surrender too, just lying on your bed and saying, I surrender, is very powerful because it opens you to hearing your guides and so much more so that you realize you're never alone. We are never, ever alone. Yeah. So, and this is what the seventh dimension is all about as well. It is the gentle, allowing state of being that permits expansion and incorporation of your entire original imprint. So, and that's what's happening. So, the more we allow in our universal self, our higher self, or it just happens, basically, angelic self, oversoul, then we feel less and less alone. And this is all about the connection, the electromagnetic field as well. So that's the mother energy connected to the water and the moon and the sunlight. So you can just even just go out in nature and feel totally connected. That dark place is not the truth of who you are, and it certainly is not the truth of the fifth dimension. There is no room for it. So, dear hearts, or the seventh. So, dear hearts, you have graduated. So, it's us remembering our self love and our self worth. And it's so nice. He said that we, even 10 years ago, we'd graduated. So, where are we at now? And I know it looks pretty chaotic out there, but it's really deep old energies that are up now to be looked at and processed, is what I'm getting. Just from doing this trauma therapy, there's no way I could be doing the work that I'm being helped with by someone else right now. I don't think I could have done it on my own. So the therapies are really helpful. The newer type of therapies. When you are in alignment with universal law, you come to a place of understanding of how to position yourself, particularly within time and space, how your actions or inactions or sense of being can be measured and reflected. I'm not really sure why I have this in here, but I guess it's just to help us remember too, that alignment with universal law helps with everything, because that's the golden grid that's all around us. And so even remembering that too. So there's the nature connection, there's the fairy, the magical connection, the fairies and the divas and all that. And then there's our star family. And then there's the animal kingdoms. I mean, we are surrounded with help, the masters and the angels. I think it's just really good to remember how surrounded we are. And if we do, this is another thing about the mirrors. So if we're triggered by something that's happening outside of us, it's usually inside. So just keep asking lots of questions around what we're so triggered about. Or if we're suffering from physical pain, you can ask the pain, how it's connected to the past. And just know that you're surrounded with help to help with the letting go. We're really, really surrounded. We're here to be non-judgment of self, compassion for self. So that love for the self. Okay, well, I think that's where I got to. I didn't realize we'd go through it so fast. But maybe we should just send out some energy of that where we are doing really well, just to send that into the collective for 10 minutes. Unless we have any questions about in this content. Did you have anything that you wanted to say, Steve?
Well, it's interesting because unity and unification
Mhm.
is the next place, certainly that I'll be going to. We have the deep state creating divisions all over the place.
Mhm.
And then we feed into that by taking one side or the other.
Exactly.
And so unification is the order of the day right now.
Absolutely. Then stand back and just watch it, right?
Yeah.
Don't take sides.
Don't take
Yeah,
sides.
I totally agree. Just stand back like a tree and don't take any sides. Yeah.
So order
Yeah,
of the day.
because then you're not siding, like say you witnessed mom and dad fighting when you were little and you sided with one or the other. I know I did this. And then you spend a lifetime taking sides and without even realizing it.
Yep.
So it goes back to loving mom and dad equally, just like you love the Divine Mother and the Divine Father equally. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like we would love one more than the other, I don't think, on the other side. It would just be amazing awe and wonder. So to get to that place about what our experiences here, the long journey, the courage it's taken to do all this work. How many lifetimes have you been here? Like, it's amazing when you look at the big picture and just to have that awe and wonder for yourself. It helps with us coming into that perfect healing in the physical form. And standing back like a tree. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. Anyone else? Ken, did you want to add something?
Um, um, I don't know. I guess I've just been listening because I'm kind of tired. I have not really found anything that I wanted to talk about, I guess.
Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. I mean, really, I mean, it's just like opening to the love that's all around us, really. And that's the heart chakra. Yeah. So that we don't feel alone. Yeah. Okay. Well, how about we send some of that love out into the collective?
Kathleen, just before we leave
Yeah.
the subject,
Yeah.
the point of light that you described
The point of light.
in the heart.
Yeah, the one in the center of the heart chakra.
No, in the center of the heart.
Okay, because the one in the meditation, when we fly through that pinprick of light into the golden chambers in the back, he always said it's in the center of the heart chakra.
Well,
I know, and you have an idea of the hridayam, which is
in the center of the heart. The permanent opening of the hridayam is ascension.
okay, because he did talk about that. He said the portal to our heart and that spark of light in the meditation, but we'll
I'll have to have a look at that.
yeah. So you know what I'll do? I'll pull it up for the next class so we can have a good look at it, because I thought you were going to pick up on it when I was reading it.
Yeah.
Very specific.
Yeah. Raman Maharshi also talks about it. He's very specific.
Yeah.
And he talks about it being the heart. But, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else does, short of Sanat Kumara, etc.
Exactly. So what I'll do is I'll bring it up at the beginning of the next class, because it's really profound what he actually says, but it's in the middle of the meditation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's what time are we at? Oh yeah, it's a bit early, but that's okay. I'm not feeling my best.
Yeah. Neither am I.
What's that?
Neither am I, and I'll bet you there. Well, neither is Ken.
Oh my goodness.
Among friends.
I never thought that saying yes to doing like trauma therapy, that it would be, I would go through such a roller coaster ride. But I guess that's the nature of it. Mhm. Yeah,
Surprise.
Uh-huh.
it drags everything up to be looked at and let go on a whole nother level. It's
Yeah.
extraordinary.
Yeah.
So anyways, we will, let's just send a whole bunch of love out there. Does that sound good? The law, maybe just send out the law of unification, unity into the collective, because it's such a beautiful law.
Very much.
Okay. So, yeah, so I'll just ask everyone to mute themselves and I'll set the timer. There we go for 10 minutes. And we'll see everyone in 10 minutes. No, Angelina's here. Okay, well, that was good. All right. Oh, I almost lost juice here. That would have been funny if we disappeared in the middle of that. Okay, well, that was a good class. Sorry I wasn't fully on point, but well, I'll get there for Friday. Yeah, I feel better already. I think it's SK. It's been helping me a lot. Okay, so any other questions or anything about, yes, Steve?
Can you stay on for a minute after? I want to show you a demonstration.
Okay. I will do that. Yes. All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna turn off the recording.